All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4, A New Hope. This is the 4th episode in the series, Radical Collective Intelligence, Synthesis and Evolution. This is kind of the main track for the topic of radical collective intelligence on Radish. So what we're going to discuss today is we're going to talk about we're actually going to start implementing the alpha version of Radical Collective Intelligence within the next few days with the relaunch of radish.org. And I'm going to talk about some of the basics of what you're going to see on there, what we're going to see, what we're going to be able to play with. And I want to talk about the evolution forward from there, right? From the alpha version to the beta to V1 to V2 and onward, that ongoing evolution. So to that end, I'm going to first talk briefly about the teleological taxonomy. And I think we're all going to be pleasantly surprised about the simplicity to which that boils down in the end. Then I'm going to, after that, I'll give a brief overview. Let me just make a note of that real quick. A brief overview of the totality of collective intelligence, starting with that teleological taxonomy, but very brief. And then from there, I'll get into the scaffolding that we're in the process of building for the alpha version, which will be up on the website. So we're going to have a complete alpha version in a few days on the website. It'll be very simple scaffolding, right? Think bamboo scaffolding, 20 feet tall, that can't support a lot of weight, but it's a start. We use that scaffolding to build a collective intelligence. Sorry about my sweaty armpits. I was out for a long walk this morning. But anyway, we use that scaffolding to build an actual collective intelligence, and we'll talk about the difference. And then the actual collective intelligence we'll use to then build the next version of the scaffolding. And so it will be a continuous ratcheting of scaffolding, actual collective intelligence, scaffolding, actual collective intelligence from there. So that's why I'm so giddy and so excited to launch the alpha version, however, small, however limited, right? Because that gets this virtuous cycle going. That's the action that there is to take. So we'll talk about that scaffolding, and then we'll talk about a little bit about platforms and solutions. So anyway, let me just dive in with the taxonomy. So I'm going to do a screen share here, and I ask you guys to please jump in, please interrupt, because I cannot see you when I'm doing screen share. So I'll count on you to interrupt, and I ask you to interrupt at any time. Looks like Peter accidentally dropped off, but I'm sure he'll be back. Peter, welcome back. Okay. All right. So we're starting with a teleological taxonomy of the world's needs, of what the world needs in order to have a whole world, in order for the world to be whole. And we've talked before about how this breaks down into needs of people and needs of the planet. So I won't spend time belaboring that, other than just to point out visually, it's kind of like a fractal, right? You keep rooting down and you keep rooting down until what? Until you get to very specific needs, right? Did Michael, eat a nutritious breakfast this morning, right? Literally down to that level. The finest grain needs you can imagine, right? And so this will be a massive database, but the beauty of this massive database of all these fine grained, billions or trillions or whatever number of very specific, and here's the key, measurable needs, right? Then, and we also have a way of measuring, ongoingly measuring. We'll basically have the dashboard for a whole world. And to what extent are we achieving all these needs? Did Michael have a nutritious breakfast this morning? Yes. Color it green. Did Jamin have a nutritious breakfast? No. We'll color it red. That's an emergency. And of course, that red would be over here in the realm of under people, but I'm just kind of filling in just random examples here. So we want to turn them, we want to turn the yellows into greens, and we want to turn the reds into yellows into greens as quickly as possible across all these leaf nodes. Anyway, that's all I want to say for now, but it's really good news because it makes it very, very simple. And so now, actually, let me delve into a little bit of detail here. For the teleological taxonomy, when you click on a given topic, you will see links to the following things. What is the aim or goal of that topic, right? Like, for example, Michael having breakfast. The aim or goal is that Michael be well nourished at breakfast time. How does that map to the aim or goal of the node above it? Well, ultimately it rolls up to all people being fed and all people being well, and that's one major component of a whole world. The other is a planet being well. And so we kind of show how it rolls up if it's not obvious, right? And that's part of the beauty of the teleological taxonomy, is that it all rolls up. And then we're going to begin a discussion of what it will take to achieve that goal, right? And we're going to have discussions at all levels of the teleological taxonomy. From the whole world itself, what is a whole world? What is the definition of that? Down to people and food and shelter and all those needs, all the way down to the leaf nodes, right? We'll have whatever discussions we need to have. Why on earth would we be focusing on Michael and his breakfast? Why would we have conversations about that? It may be a case study in how to eat well, living in France and in a way that's regenerative to the environment, right? So there may be very good reasons why we'd want to root down, but we don't have to root down on every leaf node, obviously. But anyway, and so anyway, that's the basic idea, is that this really simplifies things, because we're talking about needs and we know that we can break it down to something measurable. That's part of what we need to do in this realm of collective intelligence, is develop that teleological taxonomy. Okay. Now let me kind of show how that fits into the whole of the big picture. So you have a whole world that breaks down through the teleological taxonomy to all these needs, which I'll just represent as these rectangles here, okay? And then to meet those needs, we have solutions. In support of those solutions are platforms, which one can think of as, solutions in their own right, or you can think of them as things that support solutions. Doesn't matter, it's really, they're all solutions as far as I'm concerned, all the way down to the mega platform of radical collective intelligence. Okay, now here's an important distinction I want to make. This platform of radical collective intelligence is part of collective intelligence, but it is not the whole of it. The whole of it is the platform plus the people, right? So the platform plus the people and their contributions, right? Which in this case is recorded. Right, so it's a permanent contribution to the collective memory or the collective knowledge base. But people and their contributions combined with the platform and combined with all of this structure within which the platform exists, all of this is collective intelligence. So there's the platform of radical collective intelligence, and then there's radical collective intelligence itself. That's one thing. This is another thing. Radical collective intelligence itself includes the platform plus all this other stuff on the picture, right? Anyway, so that's the big picture. Now I want to shift to the alpha version of radical collective intelligence that we're building here on Radish. And I want us to think about all of what we're about to see as scaffolding. And we're going to be using this alpha version of radical collective intelligence with one of its major goals is evolving the scaffolding itself of radical collective intelligence. So to that end, we're going to have a topic called radical collective intelligence. And in fact, it's right here in this topic where the current series that you're watching right now, Radical Collective Intelligence, Synthesis and Evolution, that exists right here in this topic. Okay? All right. Okay, I understand you've got connections issues, Peter. Thanks for letting us know. But anyway, so this is this particular series. This series, I'm going to draw it in its traditional gold. This is a skyscraper. I've kind of got it at an angle here, but it's a growing tower of knowledge precisely on radical collective intelligence. Now, in support of this big topic of radical collective intelligence that we're on right now, in this particular taxonomy pertaining to the radical collective intelligence platform, we will have a subtopic over here on the right, development of the radical collective intelligence platform. So we're going to talk about its development here, not here at the top, but here. I mean, here we'll mention it, but it's here to the right in this other topic that will really delve into that. And we'll keep that more or less separate from our conversations and explorations into the big vision for radical collective intelligence and the possibilities, such as they are, of developing it as a crucial weapon in our quest to slay the dragon of near-term human extinction and extinction of most species on the planet. Basically, let's call it saving the planet. We can use radical collective intelligence to save the planet. Here's where we'll be talking about that. Now, in talking about the development of the radical collective intelligence platform, we're going to have some very specific conversations, such as the one we're having right now, and the next one that we'll have where we'll drill in here, right? Here is where we'll delve into the details of the alpha version that we're building, right? And so the web developers and the coders and the open source project that we're going to do for this, all those folks will congregate exactly here, have conversations here about what it is we're building, who's building what, and red leader to gold leader kind of conversations. Okay, and further over here we'll have conversations on the vision for the technologies that we're going to be using for the platform. All the different technologies, because these are crucial parts. And then over here, we'll keep that largely separate from our vision for the applications of radical collective intelligence, right? Where specifically are we going to apply it? How are we going to use it to cool planet Earth and buy us some time, right? As we figure out even more solutions like holistic land management, et cetera. And then, finally down here, I want to have a separate conversation on a topic I'm very passionate about, is the imperative for radical collective intelligence. This isn't some cool thing that would be kind of fun to play around with. And, no, we're talking about the thing that can potentially be the critical, crucial, killer application to slay the dragon of near-term human extinction. And as part of this conversation about the imperative for it, I posed the challenge to the world, the radish challenge. Does anyone have a better idea? Right? So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. Actually, one other thing, which is that kind of back to the big picture here. We'll have whole separate taxonomies. Like right now is basically looking at a taxonomy of the radical collective intelligence and the radical collective intelligence platform. There are other platforms, which I call mega platforms, which sit atop that. There'll be a whole other taxonomy of those topics. Another set of platforms on top of the mega platforms, like eco. Like a mega platform is CCC, one that sits on top of that is eco, for example. And then a whole separate taxonomy for all the solutions and component solutions thereof, which are represented as these golden skyscrapers of knowledge, since solutions map to conversations, components map to conversations as well. That's a whole separate taxonomy of those. So anyway, just wanted to put this taxonomy in perspective. This is one of many taxonomies that we're going to be developing as we create and architect collective intelligence and connect all the pieces together. The platforms, the solutions, the needs in the teleological taxonomy, the resources of planet Earth and of humanity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How does it all fit together? All right, well, I know I've talked quite a bit, so I'm gonna stop talking and turn it over to you guys. If you have anything to add, subtract, multiply.
I don't have anything to add. I think that was concise. I think that's the very high level introduction, I think, to the system as a whole, or sort of its kind of the framework within which we're working.
Yeah.
The scaffolding, which begets CI itself, which in turn begets more scaffolding, I suppose. There's a dialectic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's the key. And so we're now finally about to launch the alpha version, the first version, and we're contributing content to the collective intelligence with every word we utter. Having said that, I think we're probably reaching diminishing returns on this particular recording.
Good. So I look forward to rooting down from there and to whatever occurs to you as the next logical topic.
Great. That's right. We're creating a bunch of videos today to put up on the various taxonomies. So good stuff, and up on the website. So, all right, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Michael. Arigatou gozaimasu.